Excitement coursed through me as I read the message on the dating app. A potential connection had ignited, and we agreed to meet at a nearby restaurant. Preparations commenced with enthusiasm, from grabbing my wallet and some condoms to spraying my body with my favorite Invictus perfume. Car keys in hand, I embarked on the journey, convinced that this encounter would be transformative. Upon arrival, I texted her, and she directed me towards a table at the far end of the restaurant. Confidence surged as I approached, beholding a stunning blonde with captivating blue eyes. Introductions flowed effortlessly, leading us into a captivating conversation. Despite her enchanting appearance, I sensed something was amiss from her distant body language. Initially attributing it to shyness, I pressed on. Our exchange deepened, plans were hatched, and we decided to head to my place. Along the way, her phone chimed, prompting her quick dismissal of the notification. Smiles prevailed and conversation flowed, yet a sense of unease gnawed at me when I noticed a car tailing us in the rearview mirror. Tentatively mentioning the observation, she urged me to ignore it, attributing it to a drunk driver. My focus shifted to devising a strategy to outmaneuver the pursuing car. Ideas raced through my mind, overshadowing the date's appeal. Swiftly, I rerouted us towards the local police station, veering towards safety. The lady grew increasingly uneasy, inquiring nervously about the proximity to the police station. I casually mentioned living nearby, easing her concerns. As we approached the police station, 5 officers chatted in front. Bravely, I voiced my suspicions about her intentions, implicating her in the scheme. The police promptly intervened, requesting her phone. Anxious, she attempted to delete messages, but the officers intervened. Their discovery painted a chilling picture. Paragraphs detailing plans to drug, rob, and even murder unsuspecting victims like me. Swift action followed, leading to her arrest. Under interrogation, she exposed her criminal associates, unraveling a web of malevolence. An elaborate network of kidnappers and criminals was now within the clutches of justice. My intuition had proved astute, and thanks to my actions, a cadre of sinister individuals was brought to light. The incident served as a stark reminder that intuition and quick thinking can thwart even the most devious of plots. My journey for a romantic connection had evolved into a pursuit of justice, ridding the world of darkness one step at a time.
Michael tapped his phone screen, the glow of tinder illuminating his tired eyes. It had been a long string of left swipes, models with pouty lips and bios that read Wanderlust and Wine Not. Then she popped up, Jessica, with cascading dark hair that tumbled past her shoulders, eyes that sparkled with a hint of mischief, and a smile that could launch 1,000 ships, or at least a decent first date. Jessica was a breath of fresh air. Unlike the usual parade of self-absorbed profiles, Jessica's bio spoke of a love for obscure documentaries, a passion for getting lost in the wilderness on weekend hikes, and a healthy disdain for Michael's personal kryptonite. Bad puns. A back-and-forth volley of witty messages ensued, punctuated by shared playlists and late-night philosophical discussions. They clicked. They really clicked. So when Jessica suggested a date, Michael was ecstatic. There was just one unusual detail. She preferred a secluded park at 7 p.m., citing her introverted nature and a desire for a more intimate setting. Blinded by the promise of a genuine connection and Jessica's undeniable beauty, Michael readily agreed. Fast forward to 7 p.m. sharp. Michael, looking his best in a crisp button-down and jeans, pulled his sleek Mercedes into the designated park. The air hung heavy, the silence broken only by the mournful hoot of an owl in the distance. A shiver danced down his spine, but he brushed it off as a predate jitters, focusing on his phone, waiting for Jessica's text, confirming her arrival. Suddenly, a chilling sound shattered the quiet. A series of heavy footsteps, getting closer with each crunch of unseen leaves. Michael's heart hammered a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He wasn't a stranger to the outdoors, And these weren't the light, playful steps of a deer. He remembered his mom's recent birthday gift, tucked away in the center console, a compact pepper spray snuggled amongst his hiking essentials. Gripping it tightly, he prayed he wouldn't need it, just as a hulking figure emerged from the shadows, a giant of a man with a menacing glint in his averted eyes. Michael reacted on pure instinct. He'd taken a safety course for his solo camping trips, and the training kicked in. With a practiced flick of his wrist, he drew his licensed pistol, a precaution he'd always held on to despite occasional scoffs from friends. "Who are you? What do you want?" he yelled, his voice surprisingly steady despite the tremor in his limbs, aiming the weapon at the man's leg. A deafening gunshot echoed through the otherwise serene park. The man shrieked in pain, doubling over and clutching his foot as his phone tumbled from his grasp. The sound of a notification chiming confirmed Michael's worst fears. This wasn't Jessica. He'd been catfished. Relief washed over him in waves, quickly followed by a nauseating realization. He'd been lucky. His adrenaline subsided, replaced by a cold sweat of fear. Had he hesitated even a fraction of a second longer, things could have gone very differently. The thrill of the date, the intoxicating charm of Jessica's online persona, had completely clouded his judgment. He'd thrown caution to the wind, ignoring the basic safety measures he usually adhered to. The incident left a deep scar. It was a brutal reminder of the dark underbelly of online dating. There were people out there who lurked in the shadows, preying on the vulnerable with malicious intent. From then on, Michael vowed to be vigilant, public places only, friends informed about his whereabouts, no exceptions, and a healthy dose of skepticism, always. In the end, a disastrous date became a valuable lesson, a stark reminder that sometimes a little caution can save you from more than just a bruised ego. It could save your life.
I was living in Jonesboro, Arkansas at the time, and my life seemed to take an unsettling turn when I began dating a guy named Jason. Everything started off fine, but as time went on, I began to notice disturbing behaviors in him. He would become possessive, jealous, and his temper would flare up over the smallest things. Eventually, I decided to break things off and move on. After ending things with Jason, I started seeing someone new, Mark. He was everything I could have hoped for. Caring, understanding, and respectful. However, it seemed that my past with Jason wasn't ready to let go. He began stalking me and my new boyfriend, showing up unexpectedly and sending creepy messages. It was unnerving, to say the least. One evening, when I returned home from work, my heart sank as I saw a chilling sight. There, on my doorstep, was a letter written in blood. My name, Emily, was scrawled across it, and the message simply read, "I miss you." The fear that had been building up inside me escalated to an entirely new level. My hands trembled as I unlocked the door and entered my house. Upon entering my bedroom, a horrifying scene unfolded before me. An axe and a box of chocolates were laid out on my bed. The juxtaposition of these items was eerie and disturbing. As I turned around, hoping to flee from this nightmare, I was met with Jason's haunting presence. His face twisted into a creepy smile. He uttered the words, "Happy Valentine's." My heart raced as he grabbed my arms with a vice-like grip. Panic surged through me, but a surge of adrenaline allowed me to react. With all the strength I could muster, I kicked him square in the groin. A guttural scream escaped his lips as he doubled over in agony. It was a moment of triumph amidst the terror. Seizing my chance, I managed to break free from his grasp. My instincts kicked in, and I dashed for the door. As I fled down the hallway, I could feel his presence behind me. Turning the corner, I reached for my phone and dialed 911, the sounds of my own heavy breathing filling my ears. The police arrived promptly, their flashing lights casting an eerie glow over the scene. Jason was apprehended, his twisted smile now replaced by a look of rage and defeat. He was charged with trespassing, and finally, I felt a glimmer of relief. But that relief was short-lived. Years later, a chilling headline graced the news. Jason, the man who had tormented my life, was now facing charges for the murder of an elderly individual at a local bar. The shock of seeing his face on the television screen once again sent shivers down my spine. The darkness within him had escalated to an unimaginable level. As the legal proceedings unfolded, Jason was ultimately sentenced to prison. The mere thought of his presence behind bars brought a strange sense of closure. However, my unease persisted, especially as news surfaced that he had been transferred to a high-security correctional facility. The knowledge that he was still out there, even behind bars, was a constant source of anxiety. Looking back on that incident, I'm reminded of the fragility of life and the unpredictable turns it can take. The scars left by Jason's actions remain, a constant reminder of the terror I endured. But in the midst of the darkness, I found strength within myself, and the unwavering support of loved ones helped me move forward, step by step, toward a brighter and safer future.
Thanks for joining us on Fright Scream. Remember, for more chills, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, sleep tight, if you dare.